Didi, needless to say, there are a lot of very, very unhappy people out there. The bottom line is, and people like myself who interact with you quite a lot, we know a lot of your side of the story. But the bottom line to the people out there is that they don't have water, number one. Number two, it's caused by people on an illegal strike. Number three, sabotage is involved. And, you know, they don't understand how the hell something like this could happen. As people say in Afrikaans, hulle is demoere.
Okay, I think as you have summarized, we have some labor challenges with our staff presently, and arising out of that, it compromises our ability to provide water and sanitation services. Unfortunately, most of the staff involved in the illegal strike are our field staff, and therefore we are having very serious challenges to provide water and sanitation services. What is making the situation worse is that there's a very high degree of intimidation and threats, and as a result, even the private service providers who provide us with water tankers, their drivers have been threatened, so they have withdrew their services. Contractors who assist us in emergencies to repair burst pipes and so on have also been threatened, and the few staff members that were even trying to manage the systems and undo the interference in the systems have also been threatened. So we're really in a very, very serious situation right now.
But you've got a court interdict. There have been charges laid with the police and various other measures, but it still continues. I mean, how is that possible?
Yeah, we have open charges, as you know, one in December, the one in September, and over the weekend we have laid another charge. And we have a court interdict to have them return to work, which they are refusing to do. We are going to be meeting with the police just now at 11:30, but I must admit we are having challenges in terms of removing the staff, because it now means that you've got to have a show of force and forcibly remove staff from the premises, and there seems to be some resistance to that.
No, but sure, I hear what you say, but aren't we in a disaster situation?
We're almost there. We're almost there. It's a very serious crisis, and if this continues any longer, we're going to have a situation where there's going to be no water, because even some of our stations where we are trying to produce water, staff are receiving death threats now, and they're also refusing to work, so it's quite serious.
Okay, Didi, there are the four MECs that you spoke about yesterday, have they arrived?
We're just trying to figure out what is their plans, and we're in contact with them. There are some discussions that are taking place from this morning, so we're waiting the outcome of that. The cabinet has appointed 4 MECs to intervene in this matter, so we are trying to see what is the latest on that matter, but we haven't received confirmation as yet.
But actually, you guys are in a no-win situation, because these, these people are holding you over a barrel of a gun. If you accede to their requests, it creates a precedent. But yeah, there's no other solution, the other way out.
As you know, they submitted a memorandum. We then responded to all those requests in the memorandum, and it's quite clear now that they are not happy with those responses, and they are resorting to this kind of illegal action. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that you have a group of employees who are holding us to ransom, and you are correct. I mean, you concede to this, and this will just be the status quo from now on. Whenever they are unhappy, they'll just switch the water off, and you'll just give them what they want. So it is a very serious challenge for us.
Yeah, the bottom line is, if they don't agree to go back to work, and if you can't remove them, where are we going?
Yeah, that's a very serious challenge. I'm going to put that to the police at 11:30 and see what they are advising. But right now, I've engaged security companies to escort our staff, escort the trucks, and look after our key sites. But for how much longer I can carry on, and I can't get security for all the sites. And as a result, as you have quite rightfully pointed out, there's very serious vandalism and interference with the systems that's really causing us serious problem. There's not an issue about the availability of water. There is water there, but it's just that because of the interference, we are unable to get the water to the people.
I know your time is short. Just one last question. Any message out there? I know, people smirk when you say I'm sorry, but I mean, surely there is something you want to say to them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in a situation like this, you'll just have to humble yourself and apologize to the people. I understand the frustrations. Last night, I sat till the late hours of the night, in fact, early hours of the morning, responding to each and every telephone call that I got, responding to each and every SMS that I got. And there's not much I can say to people that's going to make them feel better. But just to say that at this point in time, we really need the community support. And depending on how we're going to move forward, we may now have to go to the community and ask them to really come forward to assist us to try and manage the situation. Otherwise, we're going to be in a very, very serious problem where we're going to have a situation, there'll be no water, hospitals will have to close, people will lose their lives. We cannot allow that. So we'll just have to maybe mobilize whatever resources we have within the communities and try and stabilize the situation. But the level of intimidation is very, very high.
There is just one last one. You mentioned that if people want to help, and I'm sure there will be people, who can they contact?
We're going to be discussing that, and I'm hoping by this afternoon we're going to put out something to people, the kind of help we're looking for and who they can contact. But I'm saying again, if this thing is going to continue and if they were not going to have a solution in sight and staff are not going to be wanting to return to work, then we just have to rely on the community to come forward and assist us. The only problem is that we don't want to place people's lives at risk, because I myself, when my staff are saying their life is threatened, I cannot insist that they go on the field, because if something happens to them, how am I to explain that to the families? I have to look at my employees' safety and even that of ourselves. But at the end of the day, we have to find a way to ensure that people are getting water. This thing is now carrying on from last Thursday, and it will just go to the weekend, and for 9 days without water is just totally unacceptable.
What about stern action from the province or from the central government, maybe? Real stern action?
Like I said yesterday, I've escalated this to the province. I did advise them again this morning. The situation is getting really serious, and I'm hoping that there's going to be some very serious intervention, because right now, as you can see, this situation is like really way above us, and we're trying to do the best we can, but we are not winning. So obviously, whatever help we can get, we'll really appreciate it.
Really, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and best of luck in the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.